Welcome back, it's the Immortal Argonian here, back with some more content for you guys. Sorry about the last video, it was not intended to be that way, but my wife had a really long day and wanted to take a nap, so I was trying to watch Liam and everything, and I hoped that he was going to sleep long enough for me to get the video out, and he didn't. So that video will be coming down later this evening. When I'm done doing all this stuff. So tonight we're going to do a Tyrant Mine walkthrough. Now, I've not seen any Tyrant Mine walkthroughs. Most people played this in the demo, so I don't think a walkthrough is absolutely necessary. But we're going to do one anyways, just for the sake of covering all of our bases. I mean, honestly, there's not a whole hell of a lot that we can really do right now until we get to endgame, because this game was designed to have a story mode that you would get through part of the story mode before you hit endgame, and then the rest of the story mode was designed to be part of endgame. It is also intended for most of these fortresses to be endgame as well. And guys, I'm going to say, I've seen the reviews. We're a decent amount of time into gameplay here on the channel. We haven't done much off-screen. Tried it a little bit, helping Joe catch up from what he missed, and helping another one of our buddies catch up from what they missed. So Joe and Dom are relatively caught up. Joe has a couple little things to catch up on, and I'm hoping to hear him on comms here soon, and I'm hoping he doesn't fall asleep on us partway through this. But
he's here.
Hey, Joe. There he is. All right. So, guys, while a Tyrant Mine walkthrough may not be entirely necessary, we're gonna do one anyways, just because it feels like I feel like we should. We can get through it relatively quickly, but just for the sake of the walkthrough, we're gonna go through it on easy, so that I'm not sitting here trying to give you guys a walkthrough while I'm trying to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge continually for, you know, however long it takes. So we're just going to throw it on easy, give you guys a little walkthrough, and then that's going to be it. I'm sorry tonight's video is going to be such a short video. I had a staff meeting after work tonight that we all had to attend, and I didn't end up getting home until about an hour ago, at which point I still had to eat dinner and do everything else and then feed Liam. And so yeah, we're going to get this done. We're going to do it up. And then, yeah. After that, we'll call it a night. Next week's stream should be a little bit longer. Mostly because I don't have a staff meeting next week. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't mind our staff meetings. They're usually not too terribly bad, but they just take time. That's all. Like, the staff meeting tonight wasn't bad. It was about an hour, but it wasn't bad. And it is what it is. So, but yeah, we'll get through with this walkthrough, guys, and then everything should be all gravy. If I can get out of the forever load screen. I've realized it doesn't matter who's group leader. Even though I have the same internet package Troy has, I am always the last person to load into everything, and I don't know why.
And I have the shittiest internet package.
Yeah, and Joe's usually the first to load in, so I don't know. The game must just hate me.
Well, I have the shittiest internet package for about 2 days. Well, yeah, about 2 more days.
Yeah.
Yay. Moving out.
Alright, guys. So, real quick, while we're doing this walkthrough, I'm gonna explain a couple of things that have gone awry with Destiny. Or not Destiny. Everything's gone awry with Destiny. Things that have gone awry with Anthem. So, guys, as everybody knows, there's easy, normal, Oh, there we go. Easy, normal, hard, Grandmaster 1, Grandmaster 2, and Grandmaster 3. So, the way everything's coded and the way everything's supposed to end up is, on easy, enemies have 50% less health and deal 50% less damage. On normal, it's normal. On hard, it's 50% more health, 50% more damage. Right? That's what you kind of what you expect from a game like this anyways. So we're going to stack on top of that the fact that Grandmaster 1 was supposed to be 100% more health and damage for enemies. Grandmaster 2 was supposed to be 250%, and Grandmaster 3 was supposed to be 500%. Some people in the last week or two have broken down the coding. So basically what it codes out to is Grandmaster 1, instead of coding out to 150% more health and damage for enemies, codes to 250%. Grandmaster 2 codes to 500%, and Grandmaster 3 codes to 1300%. So I want you guys to realize that instead of being 5 times more health and damage at Grandmaster 3 like it was supposed to be, it's 13 times more health and damage. Now, that being said, people have found so far that the most efficient way to farm their in-game gear, their legendaries, masterworks, whatever you want to call them, people have found the most efficient way to do that is to come into one of these strongholds on Grandmaster 1 and farm the first 2 chests. And we'll show you guys the first 2 chests as we get to them. But basically they found, as far as time effectiveness goes, that's the way to do it. So what they end up doing is they go in, they farm the first couple of chests, and if they get the legendary or a masterwork or whatever on either of the first 2 chests, they'll finish it out. If they don't get one on either of the first 2 chests, then they'll back out, restart, and do it again. And they have found that that is the most time-effective way of doing it. So, I mean, honestly, guys, at that point, like, there's no reason to do any of the end game in Anthem, because it's not like, yeah, sure, you get the achievements, you get the trophies, but what then? Like, if you do everything right, by the time you hit level 30, you're going to have most of the trophies anyways. So, like, what's the point in doing this stuff on Grandmaster 2, Grandmaster 3, if the end game's not worth it? So, like, I want to believe this game can be a good game. I want to believe this game's not going to turn out to be just another trash heap like Destiny. But, and as much as I hate to say it, they're not really inspiring belief in their game right now. And I'm sure anyone playing Anthem will agree with this. I've not made it to endgame, but I've looked at coding where people have broken down the coding and shown the stuff. Like, all the stuff that a YouTuber would be expected to look at for something like this, I've looked at. I've looked at the research people have done. I've looked at every review video out there stating how bad this game's going to be. Hey guys, these little orbs, when you pick them up, if you don't get them to the thing quick enough, they dissipate and disappear. Yeah.
And then they go back where they were.
Well, you know, that wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't stuck fighting these guys up here. I'm trying to get the last 3 wisps, or whatever you want to call them.
You mean 2?
Okay, the last 2. I had both of them just a second ago. Okay, there's one. Where's... Okay, the other's going to be right over here. Nope, you are not killing me while I have these, and I am overheated. Ain't that wonderful? So yeah, guys, I'm like, I made the comment in my first video for Anthem that I wanted to see this game succeed. I thought this game was going to end up being badass. You know, I was hoping. I had high hopes for this game because we've not ever seen a game that's truly like this. Or at least that's what we thought when it was releasing. Now we're realizing that we have seen a bunch of games like this, and it's just kind of disappointing. So yeah, we need to pick up the little wisp things as we come through here. We come through, we pick up the little wisps, we kill enemies, we go through. So after you've completed the first area, which we're about to do right now, you know, you kill all these ads, kill all these enemies, blah blah blah, they're all dead. Alright, echoes delivered, that's completed. So then we're going to come up over this way. Do be careful, because there are a lot of mines up here. And if you're on any mode other than easy, the mines will pretty much destroy you. I ran through a whole minefield earlier and it did nothing to me because we're on easy and no one cares. So after you do that, you're going to come over to this little area here, and it's basically a wash, rinse, repeat.
This one's a lot more crowded.
Look, eggs everywhere. You've used your legs.
I'll pat myself on the back after I've dealt with the scars.
Oh look, guys. The repetitiveness of this game, what is it? What game does it remind you of? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Turkey Hunt.
No, these turrets still hurt on easy.
Oh yeah.
Just saying. I didn't realize that until just now, but these turrets still hurt on easy. Okay, guys, I'm gonna say it as much as everybody might hate me saying it. Like, the repetitiveness in this game, very much so, and heavily reminds me of D2. It's very repetitive. It doesn't matter what mission you're doing. It doesn't matter what stronghold you're doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're playing this game, it's repetitive. And it is just as, if not more repetitive, than Destiny 2. So it's like BioWare took everything gamers hated about D2, made it look even more badass, and then just basically made a cooler looking version of D2. Man, these guys really just want to shoot missiles at me, don't they? Nope, I need to get to this before this wisp disappears. Got that one. Ooh, ooh. So yeah, guys, like, first 6, 7, 8 hours of gameplay, I was super impressed. Now that we're hitting, you know, 12 and 13 hours of gameplay, definitely less impressed. I don't know. What do you think, Troy?
I haven't had any problems with it.
You haven't realized how repetitive it is? Or you don't care how repetitive it is?
Both.
I mean, it's cool. It's something fun. It's something new. It's something we've never really done before. I'm starting to see things in this early on that
all games get repetitive eventually.
Right, I'm just saying, I didn't expect to see repetitiveness, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours into gameplay. I didn't expect to start seeing repetitiveness until we got to endgame. But we just, I don't know. I was expecting it to get repetitive, but I wasn't expecting it to happen this soon. And, I mean, maybe I was fooling myself. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I really truly feel like a game that has been in development for 6 years, it should have more end game than what this has right now. I mean, they've been talking about Anthem. Like the first plans for Anthem debuted at Comic-Con at E3 in 2013 was the first video for Anthem, and it wasn't much, and at the time it was just a concept, but it got BioWare help with funding, which started bringing more interest to the game.
Of course it did.
Hate to say it, but that thing's probably what's producing the eggs. If we don't get rid of the source,
The scars will come back and keep making
Problem
weapons.
is, they can pique all the interest they want, but when you spend 6 years working on a game, and this is literally all you have 3 strongholds, you have a intriguing but half-assed storyline, a free play mode with basically the same 4 or 5 missions randomly popping up and then throwing in the random Titan here and there.
And the max level
Max
at 30.
level at 30, and practically no end game to speak of, guys. Like, I can forgive that there's only 3 strongholds, but there's absolutely 0 end game here. Everyone says, oh, level 30 end game, level 30 end game. There's just one problem with that. In order for there to be end game, there has to be an end game. And 3 strongholds does not constitute end game. I mean, let's look at a game like, let's take the Elder Scrolls Online, for example, guys. That game was in development for 3 years before it released. 3 years.
It's almost peaceful down here.
scorpions can't swim.
And it's still released with a fairly large amount of stuff. I mean, not a whole metric fuck ton of stuff, but still a decent amount of stuff. It wasn't a game that was half-assed and thrown together. And at its release, ESO was roughly
You know what they say? You've got to crack a few eggs to make
twice the size that Anthem is now, between everything there was to be able to do.
What is that?
So, like, one thing I want everyone to understand is, like, ESO, early on, had your Kragworn trials. Your Kragworn trials were in-game. Guys, I want to let you know now, experienced players that have been playing the Elder Scrolls Online since launch still have trouble with some of the trials. They still have a challenge with some of the endgame. But it's not so much of a challenge that it's daunting to complete. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but
Heads up, scars incoming.
it's not impossible.
Bastards love to blow.
What we're running into with this is, well, no, completing these on Grandmaster 3 is not impossible, it's impractical. Because enemies have 13 times their normal health and damage. Okay, cool. 13 times. It ought to offer pretty good rewards, right? Well, you would think, but the way they coded it, the drop chance for Masterworks is no better than in Grandmaster 1, which is why everybody's been farming Grandmaster 1. As of right now, you have the same chance to get Masterworks and Legendary items in Grandmaster 1 as you do in Grandmaster 3. But Grandmaster 1 is significantly less of a hassle and significantly quicker to get through. So it makes it more efficient for your farming. So, like, why would you spend 3 hours farming something on Grandmaster 3 to complete it twice when you can spend 3 hours on Grandmaster 1 and complete it 6 times? Like, there's no reason, there's nothing worth doing for the in-game content at this point. It's just not worth it. And that's the problem Anthem's going to run into. I will tell you right now, if BioWare and EA don't step it up and give us an endgame worth doing stuff for, then a year, year and a half, 2 years from now, Anthem won't even be a game. It'll be a bad memory on the gaming industry, and that's it.
It'll be free on PSN.
Yeah, like, we're going to get to that point. If Anthem doesn't step it up here in the next couple months, then we're going to get to this time next year, and Anthem's going to be free on PSN, and that's going to be the end of it. So guys, what you see us doing now, where I know this is supposed to be a walkthrough, so all that other stuff is pretty easy. That was the first chest. We're about to get to the second chest. What we're doing is completing these relics. Or not relics, but these things. We're putting them back together. What that's going to do is cause another wave of enemies, and then we'll get the second chest. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute.
Give it a minute. It should work itself out. Should. Energy readings are stabilizing.
But yeah, guys, like, they've really got to step up their game if they hope for this game to be worth a damn and have any type of longevity for play. Because as of right now, there is absolutely zero longevity for play in this game. People are going to come in, they're going to get to max level, they're going to do everything on each difficulty level once for the achievements. They're going to get their achievements 48 hours into gameplay, and then that's it. The game's done. That's it. That's all it's going to be. We've seen titles like this before. The guys and I recently stopped playing Destiny 2 because it's gotten to the point where all it is a grind fest. There's no story to it anymore, and nobody wants to play it. And those people that are playing it are fooling themselves into believing that just because Activision is no longer a part of it, the game's going to change, when the reality is we have at least 6 to 8 months before we start seeing any real changes from the split between Activision and Bungie. People don't realize that, but it's like, these things are going to take time. So, well, yes, they're split. Yes, they're going and figuring out how funding's going to work. They're doing all that stuff. We're not going to see any major changes to D2 for at least 6 more months. You know, it's like Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles was a wonderful concept for a game. I thought it was a great idea. Troy and I both got it. Anymore, we find it to be lacking in a lot. And, you know, it's like they made all these great promises. Funcom made all these great promises they couldn't keep. Well, other than the fact that it's just fun to run around and shoot stuff in this game, like, as of right now, nobody is going to take the end game for this game seriously, and that is going to cause BioWare to have another failure of a game. And I realize they've not had a true failure of a game in a while, but I mean, let's be honest. If this game keeps the way it has been, they're going to. And my suit's overheated because of that lightning that wasn't there during the demo.
Yes, it was. I just kept shooting them.
Oh. I was going to say, I never got hit with it during the demo.
Because I kept them clear.
Oh, that's right. During the demo, you were playing. Okay, so Troy and I have swapped suits from the demo, guys. During the demo, when we did this, Troy was running the Ranger, and I was running the Colossus.
And now I'm running the Colossus.
And I'm running the Ranger. I will say, Ranger has far superior mobility.
I'm still wrecking face.
Oh yeah. I'm not disputing that. Alright, that's done. So guys, this here is the second chest. So what everybody's been doing is coming in on Grandmaster 1, getting through these first 2 chests. If they get a Masterwork or a Legendary on either of the first or second chest, they'll finish it out and kill the boss, because if you get a Masterwork earlier on, you have a higher chance of getting a Masterwork at the final boss. And so what they're doing is they're farming it that way, because it's like, okay, well, I have one Masterwork, so this run is not a waste. I may as well finish it because I have a higher chance of getting a second. And then, oh, hey, I didn't get a Masterwork, so let's quit out and restart. Because that seems to be the most time-efficient manner for farming Masterworks and Legendaries.
It's pretty dark in here. Throw down a flare. It'll help.
You freelancers have tools for everything.
But yeah, we're going to go fight this final boss, and then that's going to be it for the video, guys. Again, I'm sorry it's such a short video this time around. I didn't intend for it to be, but...
Oh, that's just wrong.
This time it kind of has to be just for
It's only a scorpion.
reasons.
I'm not bigger.
You're not helping.
Alright, so here we go, guys. This boss fight's interesting. So basically, the boss has little sacks on its side, like egg sacks basically. And you've got to shoot the 4 egg sacks out to deal the maximum amount of damage to the boss. So you can see the egg sacks there. Oh, I can't hit her yet.
Nope. Not until she hops down here to the left.
Come on, get down here. Well, guys, looks like we're just gonna melt her. She's not even gonna see it coming. And it's done. Now, you just gotta be careful when you're picking up the stuff at the end, because it drops, and you can pick it all up, but you've got like 8 seconds from the time the boss drops to the time until the time you load out, so you've got 8 seconds to pick up your gear before you get loaded out. So yeah, guys, that was our cheesy little walkthrough there. It ended up being more of a rant than a walkthrough. But guys, I just want you guys to understand, like, we all got this game because it looked like it was just gonna be badass. And for the most part, it is. But at the same time, it's like there's enough wrong with it right now that I have concerns about the longevity of the game. And so we're going to keep playing. We're going to see what happens. You know, we're going to give it a little time. We're not just going to write it off, like I said in the first video. But at the same time, it's like we're not just going to sit here and take a bunch of crap from BioWare and EA for no reason. Just because there's no reason to. You know, we're going to keep working at it. We're going to keep seeing what we can do, but just being real, I don't know how long this game's really going to last and continue to be playable. Just because it's not everything we were promised. There have been a lot of games that have done this lately where they promise us great things and they don't come through, and every one of those games ends up dying. As much as I still like to go back and play Conan Exiles when I have nothing better to do, honestly, Conan Exiles was dead 3 weeks after launch. As much as a lot of the community has fought for Destiny 2, Destiny 2 died with Curse of Osiris. It got brought back a little bit with Forsaken, and Forsaken started making a comeback. And then Black Armory happened, and D2 is now dead. There's a reason you've not seen D2 videos in a while. It's not worth playing anymore. There's no storyline. It's nothing but a massive grind fest to get to max power, and then there's no reward for hitting max power. It's just like, oh, you hit max power and you're done. You know, it's like it's too difficult. It's too much of a hassle to get the exotic weapons that you need. Like even some of the season 1. No, excuse me. Even some of the season 1 exotics, they're not worth getting because they're too much of a hassle to get, and they're not good anymore. A lot of the season 4 weapons from Forsaken are great, but the drop rates on them are so low that it's like no one's going to go out and take the time. No one's going to go spend 30 hours trying to farm one piece of armor or one gun. It's like getting the Ace of Spades hand cannon was kick-ass, but by the time it was all said and done, it took somewhere in the ballpark of 20 hours worth of farming to get. The Malfeasance, don't even get me started on the Malfeasance. The Malfeasance was chalked up to be some great gun that was supposed to be amazing. Everybody was supposed to love. Supposed to be kick-ass. So we decided to farm it, and we played, 30 or 40 hours of Gambit before we even got a meatball?
Yep.
We got
some
the meatball.
More than
yeah.
Some more than others.
I think Troy and I spent almost 30 hours just trying to get that meatball. And we did it over the course of a weekend, and we lucked up. We got the meatball, and we had Chaz with us, and we had Joe with us at the time, so it was the 4 of us, me, Chaz, Joe, and Troy. And we got the meatball, and we just melted it. We were like, there is no fucking way we're letting somebody else get this. And we melted it. We did it. And then it took us another roughly 25 hours worth of questing to get everything done for the Malfeasance to get it and realize it was perfectly fine if you were using it in Gambit. But if you weren't using it in Gambit,
damn thing
it was the biggest fucking piece of shit gun ever. It's like, yeah, it does double damage to Guardians and it does double damage to Taken. But it has a reduced damage to anything else. It was something like 25% less damage to all enemies that weren't Taken. It was double damage to Taken and double damage to other Guardians. And it's like, yeah, it's a great gun if you only run Gambit. But the only reason we ran Gambit was to get that gun. So there was no reason to run Gambit. Like, I don't think Bungie understood that. It's like you can't release a cool gun that you can only get in Gambit and then turn around and make it so that it's only usable or only good in Gambit. Don't get me wrong, it did alright in Crucible too. But it's like, we don't do Gambit and Crucible all the time. Most of the time, we're running missions, doing stuff. But it's like, it's the same thing again, and again, and again, and again. And like, yeah, some games, like Assassin's Creed, do have repetitive themes as a franchise. They do have some repetitive missions. The difference is, when you're looking at an Assassin's Creed title, yes, this mission requires you to go kill a guard. And this mission requires you to go kill a guard. But they don't tell you how to kill the guard and what path to take. They let you do it your way. So while I can run the same mission in Assassin's Creed 20 times, I can complete it a different way every time. The problem you run into with games like this is that there's not different ways to complete these missions. You have one way to complete the mission, and either you complete it or you don't. And it's frustrating because we expected so much more out of Anthem. And, I know now, looking back, we probably shouldn't have expected as much out of Anthem as we did. We should have just thought, oh, look, it's going to be fun to fly around in an Iron Man suit, and okay, that's going to be it. All right, cool. And then got it for that. But no, we thought, because of how big a deal they made about it at E3 the last couple of years, and because of everything else, we thought, oh, Anthem's going to be great. It's going to be huge. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth the wait. They've been working on it 6 years. It's got to be a kick-ass game. So far, like, movement mechanics in the open world, phenomenal. But aside from that, I'm not impressed. I feel like I'm playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3 again, except I'm shooting aliens instead of other people, and I have a full-blown Iron Man suit instead of some special ability that lets me sprint super fast. Like, come on, guys. Like, BioWare, you're known for making unique games. And while this game looks unique on the surface, it's like somebody took Call of Duty and Destiny 2, mashed them into a blender, and then put it into an Iron Man suit. I mean, am I wrong about this, guys? Am I just completely out of my gourd? Am I off my rocker?
You always are.
No, I mean on this particular topic, though. Like, I don't know. I guess I just expected so much more out of this game than we got, and it kind of makes me sad. Like, honestly, after the debacles we had with Assassin's Creed Unity, which I will say, I really enjoyed playing. And I don't want to catch flack for this. I'm going to explain. I enjoyed playing it because it let you work together with other players to complete certain missions. It was fun. It was different. It was intriguing. And it had a decent storyline. They could have done better with the storyline, but it was decent. I liked that. But it was a debacle. It had so many problems at launch that it was not worth playing. In fact, it wasn't until within the last year that Assassin's Creed Unity became worth playing, now that they've got everything fixed. Assassin's Creed Syndicate had an in-depth driving storyline, in-depth driving ideas behind its storyline, but the storyline itself was lacking. That, and it kind of frustrated me that you would play 6 missions and fuck shit up as Jacob, and then play 1 mission as Evie to try to go back and fix what Jacob fucked up. That made it pointless having the male and female assassin together as siblings. It made it pointless. You know, I would rather have played through the eyes of their mentor. But then we jump forward 2 years from Syndicate. They made a movie, which I loved. It was not perfect, but I loved it. It was good. It was good. But then they released Origins. And Origins completely revamped the entire series. It gave purpose to your gear farming. It gave purpose to what you were doing more so in the world than previous games did. With less of a linear storyline like every Assassin's Creed before it had, and more of a open ending. Okay, go out, explore, complete quests as you're out and about, but be careful where you go because some enemies will fuck you up. Now we have Odyssey. Now, am I the only one that read the Choose Your Own Story as a kid? You start reading through it, you get to a certain page, it tells you what page to flip to. So everyone else read them too?
I have a lot of D&D ones.
Yeah. Okay. So take Assassin's Creed, turn it into a Choose Your Own Story, and take all the aspects we loved about Origins and build onto them to make the gameplay a little more challenging, but also significantly more involved. It sucks you into the world better. And, it's like you have choices to make. Do you kill Niklaus? Do you not kill Niklaus? Do you kill this person? Do you not kill that person? Do you help this person or do you let them die? Do you, rescue this plague victim? And your actions in game have consequences. And there are 10 different endings for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I've not beat the game yet. I'm taking my time, meandering through it. I just found Merini, so that's, I think, about a third of the way through the storyline. But I've also been hitting viewpoints, doing side missions, stuff like that, and I'm somewhere in the ballpark of level 33 right now. Max level was 50 until about 2 weeks ago, when they raised the level cap to 99 and added a new game plus. Super jazzed about that, by the way. The purpose in doing this with Assassin's Creed is not to draw out game time, guys. I want you guys to understand that. The devs for Assassin's Creed, in a interview, said that we've always had this vision for what we wanted the franchise to be. And we've always had these ideas of where we wanted to go with it. But we didn't have the technology. Guys, I want you to understand, gaming technology has come a long way, because think about the fact that 20 years ago, I was playing on a PlayStation 1. The discs were similar to compact discs, but if I do recall, they were black.
Yep.
They were slow. They were only, what was it? Were they 16-bit or 32-bit at the time?
I
think it was 32-bit.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. Was it? Yeah. Yeah. So, 3D graphics were just starting to become a thing. They had started with the Nintendo 64, and some of it was 3D, but it was really shoddy. And then they started getting into better 3D graphics with the PlayStation 1. And it was alright. Frogger still looked cheesy as fuck, but it was alright. And then we moved on from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 and had a very noticeable difference in graphics. We went from Frogger looking goofy as hell, but still fun to play, to Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy, and the original Star Wars Battlefront game, that the graphics for the time looked amazing. Looking back now, they look fucking atrocious. But at the time, they looked amazing. We go from that to PlayStation 3, and the year is 2007, and the first Assassin's Creed game has released. We are 11 games and 1 movie into this franchise. It has been 12 years since the first Assassin's Creed game released. And I will tell you guys, I didn't play it at the time. I didn't play it in 2007. Now, yes, I was in 7th grade when the PlayStation 3 released. And the PlayStation 3 was the console from... Did it drop in 2007 or did it drop in 2006, Troy?
I wasn't into it at that point, so I'm not sure.
I believe PlayStation 3 dropped winter of 2006, which would have been my 7th grade year. And Assassin's Creed came out end of 2007, which would have been my 8th grade year. Now, mind you, I didn't get my first PlayStation until I was my first PlayStation 3 until I was a sophomore in high school. So I was way late getting into this. But it's whatever. I got into the Assassin's Creed franchise, and by the time I got into it, first one was out, second one was out, Brotherhood was out, Revelations was about to come out, or had just come out, one of the two. My buddy gave me a PlayStation 3 because his grandma got him a brand new one for his birthday, so he gave me his old one. Worked perfectly fine. He had only had it for a year, but they had just released the PlayStation Slim, and he didn't have a need for the old one, and he wanted me to play with him, so he gave it to me, and I started playing with him. And I played Assassin's Creed in my free time. Fell in love with the franchise, guys. But they've had this vision of what they wanted the game to be, and they had to wait for the technology that we had for gaming to catch up to what we have now. I look at the graphics from the first Assassin's Creed when it first released, and I look at the graphics of Odyssey, and there's no comparison. It's like Odyssey is a video game. It's very obviously all CGI. But when you compare it to the first Assassin's Creed, it almost looks like an actual movie. You know? That's how far. Like, I want you guys to understand, you know, I was born in 1994. The peak consoles when I was a kid were the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 1, and the Game Boy Color. So it was Game Boy Color, the Nintendo 64, and the PlayStation 1. Those were your peak, like, that's what it was. And as a kid, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. As an adult, some of those games I go back and play for nostalgia. But God, those graphics are horrible, and they hurt my eyes to look at. I'm not gonna lie. That being said, you know, look at everything that's happened in the gaming industry alone, in, let's just say, the last 5 years. All right, we got the PlayStation 4. What was that? 2013, 14, something like that. So, like, we got the PlayStation 4, and I specifically remember this because Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag came out. It was 2013. The PlayStation 4 came out in 2013 because I remember right after it came out, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag came out on both consoles. Minimal difference in graphics. But then the following year, they released Assassin's Creed Rogue and Assassin's Creed Unity. Rogue on the PS3, Unity on the PS4. Huge graphics difference. You know, and that was back in 2014. The reason I remember that is because 2012 is the year I graduated high school. It's also the year that Assassin's Creed 3 came out. Which is not my favorite, but it is one of my favorite installments in the franchise because it takes place during the American Revolution, and I'm a history buff. I love history. So, like, you just got to look at how far everything's come in the last 5 years. Now, on top of looking at how far everything has come in the last 5 years, I want you to think about the fact that Anthem's been working, or that BioWare's been working on this game for 6 years now. 6 years. So if in 2 years, 2.5 years, a game developer like Ubisoft that didn't start making a name for themselves until they didn't start really making a name for themselves until Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Let's be honest here. That's when they really started making a name for themselves. BioWare's been around for years. All right. So if a company that didn't start making a name for itself until 2000, just being on the conservative side, 2010, all right, we'll say 2010, 2011 is when Ubisoft really came into their own as a studio and started to really excel and started to really do stuff. So if a company like that can make a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey in 2.5 years, which, by the way, that map is roughly 3 times the size of the world in Anthem. If you look at the actual map and how much space it actually covers, it's about 3 times the size of the map in Anthem right now. They can do that in 2.5 years and have a release with minimal bugs. How can BioWare, who has been around and been popular much longer than Ubisoft has, have been working on this game for 6 years? 6 years. They have a world a third the size of ancient Greece and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They have a game that crashes randomly at the worst possible times, relatively frequently, and has actually been crashing PS4 consoles. Have virtually no endgame to be found, have only 30 levels, be super repetitive, and make me feel like they just crammed Call of Duty and Destiny 2 into an Iron Man suit and said, here you go, have fun, play it. How? I don't understand. Like, if they spent 6 years developing this game, it should be much larger than it is. There should be much more to end game, and level cap shouldn't be 30. Also, because they've had so many problems, they gave everybody 15,000 coin. That's appreciated. I will say that's appreciated. But don't think that's just going to fix how we feel about this game that you spent 6 years working on just to piss on it in the first 2 weeks. Do you think that's enough of a rant, Troy?
Probably.
Okay. I'll stop my rant here, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to turn into a rant. I'm very disappointed with this game just because it's not what we were promised. Once again. So, until studios can start delivering on their promises, I'm going to stop acquiring games new. And, I'm going to stick to playing stuff I already have. Because it seems like every time I get a new game, all it does is disappoint me. With the exception being Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is super kick-ass. You guys should definitely play it. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a challenge. Keeps me entertained. But that being said, y'all have a nice night. We'll see you next week.
See ya.